The day the Martins moved into their new home, they were thrilled. A sunny suburban street with identical houses, each with perfectly trimmed lawns. A moving truck is parked in front of one house, and a family of 3, parents and a young boy, is smiling as they unload boxes. The neighborhood was pristine, lined with identical houses and perfectly trimmed lawns. A quiet cul-de-sac at sunset, where every house looks almost the same, with manicured gardens, white picket fences, and a serene, almost eerie stillness. It was the quietest place they had ever been. So quiet, it felt like the world outside had vanished. A wide-angle view of the street, devoid of people or movement, with a strange, unsettling silence in the air and a hazy sky overhead. Finally, some peace, Sarah Martin said, unpacking a box in the kitchen. A warm, cozy kitchen with boxes scattered on the floor. A woman is unpacking plates with a small smile while sunlight streams through the window. Their son, Ethan, was already riding his bike up and down the cul-de-sac. A young boy rides a bike joyfully along the empty street, his laughter the only sound in the otherwise silent neighborhood. But as days passed, the silence began to feel unnatural. A nighttime view of the house with dim lights glowing from the windows. The surrounding houses are dark and silent, creating an ominous feeling. The neighbors were polite but distant. A middle-aged couple stands at the edge of their driveway, staring blankly with slight smiles. They give a silent wave, but their expressions are unnerving. Greg decided to break the ice. A man holds a wine bottle as he walks up to a neighbor's door. The scene is illuminated by the soft glow of a porch light, with shadows stretching ominously. A middle-aged man answered the door but didn't say a word. A close-up of the neighbor. An expressionless man standing at his door. His eyes are slightly wide, and his posture feels stiff and unnatural. Greg offered the bottle with a friendly smile. A man extends a wine bottle with a friendly expression, while the neighbor silently takes it, showing no emotion. Ethan, however, was the first to notice something truly strange. A young boy peeks nervously through the window at dusk, staring at a group of neighbors standing motionless outside in their yards, all facing his house. Mum, one afternoon. A worried child sits at the dining table, pointing outside while his mother stands in the background, glancing out the window with a concerned expression. Sarah glanced out the window and saw their neighbors standing perfectly still in their yard, their heads tilted slightly as if listening to something. A group of neighbors stands frozen in their front yards, their heads tilted eerily to one side. The scene is bathed in the soft orange glow of a setting sun. One night, the Martins were woken by a sound, the first sound they'd heard in the neighborhood. A dimly lit bedroom at night with a couple sitting up in bed, looking toward the door. The faint shadow of a figure looms just outside the room, a faint tapping at the front door. A dark view of a front door with a shadowy figure faintly visible through the frosted glass, and a single hand raised as if to knock. Greg grabbed a flashlight and opened the door, but no one was there. A man stands in the doorway, holding a flashlight. The beam of light stretches across an empty driveway and street, with no one in sight. The street was empty. The silence was louder than ever. A wide, eerie view of the silent street at night, bathed in the dim glow of streetlights. Not a single person or car is visible. The next day, Sarah noticed something disturbing. Every house had curtains drawn tight, as if blocking something out. A daytime scene of the street with every window covered by heavy curtains, creating an unsettling uniformity. When she mentioned it to Greg, he shrugged. A man shrugs nonchalantly while a woman stands by the window, looking troubled as she peers at the closed curtains across the street. But then Ethan disappeared. An empty backyard with a swing set swaying slightly in the breeze. The bike Ethan was riding earlier is lying on its side, abandoned. "Have you seen my son?" Sarah yelled. A distressed mother stands in the middle of the street, shouting at silent, motionless neighbors standing on their porches, all staring blankly at her. The neighbors appeared, one by one, standing silently in their driveways, their faces blank. A row of neighbors standing in their driveways at dusk, their faces pale and devoid of expression, their eyes locked on the same point. The Martins decided to leave. A frantic couple loads their car with suitcases in the middle of the night, glancing nervously at the shadowy figures of neighbors watching from their yards. They surrounded the car, their faces pale in the moonlight, their heads tilting in eerie synchronization. A group of neighbors encircles a car, their heads all tilted to one side. The car's headlights cut through the dark, casting long shadows. "Don't stop," Sarah whispered, gripping Greg's arm. A tense scene inside the car. A woman gripping a man's arm as he stares straight ahead, gripping the wheel, his face filled with determination and fear. Greg slammed the gas pedal, driving through the group. The car speeds forward, scattering silent neighbors, some standing calmly while others are knocked aside, showing no pain or reaction. The entire street was lined with neighbors, standing in the middle of the road, their heads tilted toward the Martins' car. A horrifying view in the rearview mirror. Dozens of neighbors standing still, their heads tilted, watching the car as it drives away into the night. They never found Ethan. A somber shot of the Martins' abandoned house, its windows dark. A single child's toy lies forgotten on the lawn. Months later, a new family moved into the house. A cheerful family of 4 stands outside the house, smiling as they pose for a picture. Neighbors stand silently in the background, watching. The neighbors waved at them politely, silently, welcoming them to the quietest neighborhood they'd ever know. A new family unloads boxes while neighbors stand in their yards, waving silently with unsettling, frozen smiles.